Hey guys, Flanker here. Oh, sorry, I meant Margaret here. AI voiceover for NPCs has become one of the most heavily debated topics after the recent developers showcase. Flanker discussed this topic on his first Twitch stream with viewers, breaking down the most common arguments and opinions. Don't forget to give him a like and subscribe to his channel, and let's get started.
That's something that I personally don't really expect in MMOs, like the voiceover, NPCs actually talking, but if they have it, that's good, that adds to immersion. But if they don't have it, not a big deal for me personally, maybe other people will disagree. But at this point, I'm happy that they have it. Big W for voiceover, but big F, like if you don't plan to use actors, basically. We spoke about it yesterday, and I'm like, who fucking cares? That's the first thing. Secondly, I feel like people are somewhat biased and have that like stereotype that if something is made with the help of AI, then it's like low effort and bad, which is not always the case. And finally, imagine how much faster and easier that would be. Yeah, it may not be like super 10 out of 10 quality, but even if it's like 8 out of 10, it's still good. It's better than like nothing. Because like you have, I don't know, hundreds of NPCs in the game, and like, are you going to hire an actor for every single one of them, or they will have the same voice, or you're gonna have 5 voice actors? And what happens next if you stop working with that voice actor and that one NPC will have another quest and you can't add the voiceover anymore, or something like that? So there's a shit ton of fuckery that can potentially happen, and it's unnecessary, like in my opinion. I may be wrong on this, but like if they use AI, fine, they will save time. It's still gonna be like okay-ish, right? Because it's very funny to see how people complain that like, oh, the brick on the wall doesn't have 10 billion polygons, right? And at the same time, the same people say like, so why Alpha 2 takes years and why it takes so long for development? Well, because if you will keep focusing on these minor details that are not that important, then the game will not be released until in the next 10 years, you know? Yeah, I mean, you could use actors maybe for a few important NPCs, fine, like, I don't care, that's not a big deal, but still, it's not a deal breaker, right? And they can always go back and add voice actors later. And exactly, that's something that you can add, like, at any point. AI voice is a great solution for Ashes, totally agree. AI voice for most NPCs, voice actors for major. Yeah, exactly. I'm alright with AI voices for unimportant NPCs and lines, and basically people want to hear professional voice actors that they know and love.
Of Ayla.
No comments.
Welcome.
Ah.
Excellent.
Welcome. Like, it doesn't sound natural, but once again, like, I don't really care. I care about the game being good, not about the fucking lines of NPCs. If you're using AI voices, you're replacing actual human work. Well, as if we were not doing it for the last 100 of years, like with different machinery on factories and like robots and other stuff. How is it different to what has already happened? I will volunteer for some recordings. When it comes to my voice, I can only do the voiceover for some NPC who is laying in some ditch drunk and all he says is like, you know, something like that. I can volunteer for that kind of voice recording, like voiceover, voice acting, like whatever it's called. The funny thing is that people would say like, why wouldn't you hire, like if you take a look at it from that perspective, why wouldn't you hire people so that you can pay them something for their job and then, you know, they make money? Like, okay, but you're not going to be paying $15 a month for a subscription. You're going to be paying 25. Do you want to do that? Probably not. My concern is not with addicts, it's just AI voiceover is shit. Unless I can tell a difference, I don't want. That's a fair point, I would agree with that. But I think it's kind of good because I played a little bit with voice cloning, and if you have like the original sample of someone talking, and it ends up being pretty good, and that tool is in a public access, so I can imagine, and it's just like average, right? So I imagine there are some like, you know, better versions of such tools that are, you know, maybe of better quality or that are more expensive, right? So I think it should be kind of achievable. But at the same time, I want to play this game before I'm actually like 47, right? So like if they will use AI for that, by all means.
Yeah.
So many people skip quest tags, so even an AI voice is better than nothing. I kind of agree with that as well. AI... Oh, here is a very important point when it comes to hiring real actors. That's a really good point. Okay, so the game basically will be translated to several languages. You hire an actor, like let's say you have like 500 NPCs and you hire 500 people or like 100 people, right, to do the voiceover for them all. But now you need to multiply that because those NPCs have to, like, you know, talk in different languages. AI can solve this problem. If you talk about real voice actors, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. If there was only English in the game, that already annoying task, let's put it that way, because it requires a lot of people interacting with them, you know, writing those fucking lines, making them do the voiceover. It's a shit ton of time and probably money as well. And then add another layer on top of that, which is different languages. Like AI is our future. I don't mind they're already used AI voiceover at all, and it's better than nothing in my opinion. Of course, it would be bad. I would rather mute it. Yeah, exactly. It would be nice if there was an option to mute NPCs if you don't want to, you know, listen to them. And that kind of solves the whole problem. If you don't want to hear that, you have an option to like turn it off. If you want that, by all means, keep it on. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Tagging a product with AI feels cheap because every capital, whatever. So yeah, some people have an impression that if some like a bias or a stereotype that if something is made with the help of AI, then it's a low quality. While it's true sometimes, it's not true. Like, it's not always true. Also, another ethics part is that AI voiceover is based on employees. As they said, these employees should get paid for the rights of their voice, because ASC is going to use that voice in perpetuity. Can you please stop using those fancy English words? Perpetuity, right? Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce it? Whatever. But yeah, I understand the point. But once again, if you use someone's voice, like, there's a license for that. Like, how it's called, commercial license or something like that. So obviously, yeah, I think that kind of goes without saying, because if you use someone's voice in the game, then, like, without a permission, then it's not a good thing to do, and they might get sued for that. I think, like, taking into account that their primary, like, location is US, I'm pretty sure you can get sued for that, right? Scarlett Johansson is suing OpenAI for using her voice, I think. Well, yeah, if they used it without her permission, then yeah, obviously it's a legal, claim from her. I'm pretty sure there are, like, normal, appropriate legal ways of doing that. So yeah.
What is our solution for other languages as we localize it?
I believe that the AI solution is meant to be adaptive with translation efforts as well.
Exactly. That's the main point. VA is way too expensive for what the approach is. I 100% support AI voice acting, and the majority of gamers will as well. Well, probably. Cuts cost to make games by a ton. True as well. Like, if they have some funds to spend on the game, I'd rather have them spend it on some, I don't know, like, hire another, graphic designer or whatever, like, it's called for a person who does the graphics, right? Or maybe, like, someone who writes the scripts for the NPCs, or, like, some creative person to do something about the game. Like, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Money is one thing, but the time is important. That's also another factor that must be taken into account. To summarize it, here are the main conclusions on this topic. 1. AI can potentially save Intrepid a lot of money. No matter which software they use, it will still be much cheaper than hiring voice actors. 2. AI will definitely save Intrepid a lot of time, which is a key factor for all those who want to play Ashes of Creation within this century. 3. While AI voiceover may not always be perfect, the main goal for it is to be good enough. Additionally, NPC voiceovers can always be improved later. 4. Using AI voices in a proper legal way might help to avoid a lot of formalities and bureaucracy. 5. AI automatically solves the problem of translating the game into other languages. This could save Intrepid from a huge headache, once again save them time and money, and provide an opportunity to translate the game into more languages. And finally, adding an option to turn off the NPC voices for players who don't want to hear them may be a good idea. Pay attention to the Margaret's voice at the beginning of this video. While it's not perfect, it is still pretty decent. Just a couple of iterations are good enough for the software to deliver the next text with the appropriate intonation. If I can do it at a relatively decent level, I'm sure Intrepid can do it even better. In any case, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've officially started streaming on Twitch, so if you'd like to pay me a visit and hang out, feel free to give me a follow at twitch.tv/flankerua. If you enjoyed this video, you can support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. Additionally, even though my channel isn't monetized yet, you can still support me using the links in the description. The names of all supporters will be featured in the next video, and you will get a supporter role on my Discord server. So that's all for today. I'm Flanker, and I'll see you soon.